So, what's cooking in Cindy's kitchen today? Today we are making a chorizo stovetop stuffing and a fireball whiskey pumpkin pie. OMG, so good. So it's kind of like Thanksgiving with a kick. So let's get started. We're gonna do the pie first because obviously that has to go in the oven. Now this is a very easy, it's a regular pumpkin pie kind of mixed together. It's just got some whiskey in it. So that's gonna make it so good. All right, so we're gonna start out, well, let me just start out. I have a 10-inch pie plate, all right? It's a 10-inch pie plate, so that's what I'm using. Anytime you're gonna do that, hey, Vicky from OKC, give it a spray or a grease, however you do that. And then I know that I'm lazy. You all know that I'm lazy. So I'm using a refrigerated pie crust. We're gonna start with 2 eggs. 1 egg, 2 eggs. Now get out your whisk. I'm using my Danish batter hook, but any whisk, if you don't own a whisk, you can use a fork, you can use a spoon, but there you go. Scrambled our eggs right there. Now, this particular recipe calls for 9 ounces of evaporated milk. Now, evaporated milk, at least here, does not come in an 8-ounce container. So you can do a 15-ounce or a 10-ounce. So ours will have a little bit more. So these are 5 ounces each, these little bitty ones. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just putting that in there. I know, naughty, right? Okay. Now that we have that in, we're gonna put in a can of pumpkin. I have to tell you, I don't understand the run on pumpkin products, because in Texas, right? Maybe they just haven't stocked up because it's still hot here, but it was kind of hard to find. This is just pumpkin. If you find pumpkin, it can either say pumpkin or pumpkin puree. So that's what you're looking for, all right? And so this has no spices in it, really. All right, so we have our egg, we have our evaporated milk, and now we've put in a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. All right, so I've got that in there. Now I'm gonna add some sugar, and I need 3/4 of a cup. A half a teaspoon of salt, so for me, a half a teaspoon is a pinch. And then we're gonna use a teaspoon and a 1/4. So I'm gonna do the 1/4 part first. People are stocking up on canned goods. For the zombie apocalypse, is that what's coming? The zombie apocalypse, is that why? Okay, and now my teaspoon. Your old Tupperware set had one. Oh, wow, I'm a little jealous. I don't have one of those old ones. Okay, and there's the one. All right, so I'm gonna mix this up. I always hate when you put any kind of cinnamon or, nutmeg. So if did I say pumpkin spice? Pumpkin pie spice is what, this is just in my, I have a thing. I'll show you. Okay, so now this is pepping it up, right? This is Fireball whiskey. Fireball cinnamon whiskey. Oh, yum, yum. Okay, and so if you say, I don't want to use this, just make pumpkin pie. Really, because the whole point of doing this recipe is to put this in there. Fireball cinnamon whiskey. All right, and it calls for 3 ounces, okay? So, 2 ounces and 3 ounces. There we go. And so this really, so this is what it smells like and kind of what it tastes like. It tastes like Red Hots. So you remember Red Hots? Fireball cures what ails you. Did anybody love Red Hots? Or maybe even Big Red Gum. Either Red Hots or Big Red Gum. That's kind of what it all, was like. Okay, so there we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Get our pan back. Take this out, set it aside, and we're pouring in, okay? La 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 la. In we go. If you have a sore throat, Fireball whiskey, cinnamon whiskey. All right, so now the oven has been preheated to 375. So we are using chorizo. How many of you have cooked with or eaten chorizo? Okay? Now, you usually will see it. It looks like sausages, right? It's in a casing. This is just ground chorizo, okay? So it's not in the casing, all right? So what is chorizo? Chorizo is, it's like fatty pork. Oh, I guess I need to turn the burner on, don't I? Yeah. It's like fatty pork, chili pepper, and paprika. So that's what the paprika and the chili pepper give it this beautiful red color. And I wanted to use the chorizo today because the only time that we think about, I gotta take the piece of paper off. I just dumped that in there. The only time we ever really think about chorizo is chorizo and eggs. That's what everybody, so they go, oh, you're just gonna use your spoon to break this up. Let me give you a heads up about your cookware. It doesn't really matter what cookware we're talking about. Anything, other than cast iron, you're probably okay. But anything, any of you just chorizo know how to cook it. It was on sale. Joanne, well, there you go. Oh, good. Beverly used it too. Lawanda likes it. But about your cookware, any cookware that's coated, and most of it is, right? Most of it is coated. The reason, if you cook a lot, that it breaks down faster is if you're using, so even like if you have a whisk. So if you're using a metal spoon or a metal whisk, every time that metal hits the coating, it's much harder. And so you need to either use like a plastic spoon, a stirring spoon that's plastic, or your wooden spoon, if you have a wooden spoon. Wooden spoons are good, and I know a lot of people look at wooden spoons. Oh, Joanne, you gotta try. I think a lot of people look at wooden spoons as kind of being old-fashioned, and we're always looking for new stuff, but for some things, the wooden spoon is the way to go. And really, most of the time, cooking in your pans, it doesn't, now the ceramic pans, you're probably okay, but again, you just have to look and see, does it have a coating? I'm sure some of you have like older pots and pans and the coating starts to flick off, which is really yuck. And then, then you go, oh, time to get new pots and pans. Or maybe you don't cook that much and you've never had that problem. I buy new pots and pans probably every 2 years. I know that sounds like a lot, but I cook a lot. And so, and I cooked a lot even before we started doing Cindy's Kitchen. And I'm hard on them. Oh, you have a silicone whisk. That's good. I have a plastic one. See, I have a plastic one just for that particular thing. Oh, Michelle, I've missed you too. Michelle is a nurse. She was, were you in the Army or the Air Force, Michelle? I can't remember. But she served our country as a nurse and then worked in the ER for a while. And now she's what's considered, I think, Michelle, aren't you considered doing locums work? And locums work basically is for doctors and nurses where there are hospitals that either, really need backup. It's an emergency. They don't have enough people. And so they will hire doctors and nurses from other states to come in and work like a month or 2 months or something like that. But is any of that correct, Michelle? I couldn't remember what service, what branch you served in. Okay, so we're just cooking our sausage, and okay, that's hot, doggone it. Okay, so you see how it looks kind of greasy? It does look greasy. Ugh. But we don't call pork Air Force. You were in the Air Force. Okay. Okay, yes, Laura, Lori, wait. Are you working next Wednesday? Laurie, are you working next Wednesday? You're in the GI lab. Okay. Well, there you go. The GI is not cute boys in uniforms. That's the gastrointestinal lab. Anyway, remember, we don't call pork fat or grease. We don't call it fat or grease because if I said you had fat, that would be insulting. We don't want the pork to be insulted, so we call it juice, pork juice. So, of course, we got our chorizo cooking. Now, while our chorizo is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and add some more veggies in here. Hey, Michelle, it's okay. You just missed our Fireball Whiskey Pumpkin Pie. It's in the oven. Yum. All right, so now you guys know that I chop up onions and celery and carrots, or onions and celery and green pepper all the time, right? Because that's what I start. That's my Mire Poix. Or that's Mire Poix is the start of most sauces, bases, and dishes. And that has a carrot in it. It's 2 parts onion, 1 part celery, 1 part carrot. For Cajun cooking, so cooking that you would find in Louisiana, they traditionally call it the Holy Trinity. But in the grocery store, it's just called Cajun Style Mire Poix Blend. And for those of you who have problems like I do with the cutting, I mean, I still do it, but arthritis, or, you know, it's just like, I don't want to stand there chopping, whether it's lazy or inability, whatever. This whole bag was $1. And this is plenty, because this is 12 ounces. And it already has everything chopped up. And so the good thing about that is, especially if you're in a hurry, there's no slicing and dicing. Look at that. Can you see in there? It's all cut up. Onion, celery, and green bell pepper. I'm going to go ahead and dump this in here. La, 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 la. Now, the one thing you may notice is I have not added salt, right? You're right. I have not added salt. And I haven't added salt for a reason. One, the chorizo is going to give us kind of a salty bite anyway. So that's one reason. The second reason is we are using 2 other ingredients. One is stovetop stuffing. So, it's the semi-homemade thing, right? Now, don't get me wrong. At Thanksgiving, I make homemade stuffing, or dressing, right? Supposedly, dressing is in a pan, stuffing is up the turkey's wahoo, right? So, that being said, I make dressing. In the South, well, maybe not everybody, we're in the South, but here in Texas, the majority of people grew up eating cornbread dressing, which means we start with the base of crumbled up cornbread. Mostly in the North, you will find bread dressing, which is bread that's either cubed up or torn, and that's the beginning of it. So the funny story I have about this is, when I was in college, I think it was my junior year. Yeah, I think it was my junior year of college. I was at OU in, University of Oklahoma, not Ohio. And so I was dating this guy, and I really couldn't afford to go home for Thanksgiving because I was going to go home for Christmas. And so he said, well, why don't you spend Thanksgiving with my family? And I was like, okay. And I know, I do too, Kimberly. Anyway, so I went home with him for Thanksgiving, and I help his mother cook, and I see that there's no cornbread going in the dressing. There's just bread. And I'm like, but I don't say anything because I'm trying to be polite and make a good impression on the boyfriend's family, right? So I just keep my mouth shut. And then dinner comes, we all eat. And really, honestly, I don't know about you, but my very favorite part of Thanksgiving is the dressing. That's my favorite part. The dressing with the gravy, the giblet gravy. It's my favorite part. So I put a good-sized chunk on my plate because I'm like, well, she didn't put the right ingredients in there, but maybe it'll be okay. Mama didn't like it. Oh, Cindy did not like it. So for me, because I was accustomed to that cornbread texture, to me it tasted mushy, like not right. So after dinner, you know, I just kind of pushed it around and tucked it under a, you know, piece of bread or something. Good morning, Lois. Okay, so Lawanda, I do put bread in my cornbread mix. So I start with cornbread and then probably 4 or 5 pieces of bread. So you're right, I do. Oh, Terry, use sourdough. Now, I've never thought to do that. Wrap it in foil and throw it in the oven. What? I got to see the rest of this. A loaf of bread. Soak it in chicken broth, wrap it in foil, and throw it in the oven. I can't even, what does that taste like? I can't even imagine what that tastes like. Carmel, what does that taste like? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I called my grandmother after dinner to wish them a happy Thanksgiving. I'm in the back bedroom on their phone, and I'm like, Nanny, that's what I call my grandmother, Nanny. Nanny, the dressing was awful. It was terrible. It was gummy. It was icky. It was not dressing. Can you send me some? She goes, baby, as soon as you come home for Christmas, I will make you some. So she did. Funny story. Well, funny for me anyway. For those of you who like bread dressing, please don't be offended. See, Stacy, you like what you like. It's kind of like I don't like fish, and a lot of you like fish. Okay, now our chorizo is cooking. Our onions have sweated down. All life is good. Oh, yum. Okay, now I'm using cornbread, right? Stovetop stuffing mix cornbread. If you don't, I know, Michelle, it's bad, isn't it? If you don't like the cornbread, you like the bread, you can just get the regular cornbread stuffing. Could I just make all the stuffing from scratch? Well, yeah, but that kind of defeats the let's do quick and easy. Do you guys watch on, I think it's on YouTube, what's his name? Uncle Bob? I can't remember what the uncle is. It is all where you were raised, Stacy. It is. Anyway, and he makes fun of cooking shows making fried rice. You do it wrong. No, that's not the way you do it. You're a professional chef. How can you? But anyway, he's hilarious. So he was kind of dissing on some BBC cook. And then the one I watched today was, I can't remember who was on today. You can brown it and add scrambled eggs or breakfast casserole and quiche. Yes. Chorizo goes well with everything. Everything. Okay. All right, we're going. Now, before I put this in here, this recipe calls for 10 ounces of chicken stock, chicken broth. You can use veggie. This can, 12 ounces. This can is 14, so I don't have the whole thing in there, but I might use it. Hold on one second. I'm going to put a little bit in here first, and then I'm just going to use that. You're from New England, so you're a bread stuffing, even though you're a Texas transplant. And I'm going to do that just to deglaze the pan, because as your chorizo has been cooking, then you get the little brown bits on the bottom. Can everybody see in the pot? Let's do that. I know I'm looking. All right, so this is where we're going. And now I'm going to add. So if you've never looked at stovetop stuffing, see, look, it's just like little breadcrumbs, little dried breadcrumbs. All right. And it's got some seasonings in there, which is good. There we go. Not a lot, mind you, but there we go. All right, so we're going to put that in there and give it a mix. Oh, yum. All right, now that that's mixed up, I'm going to add the rest of the chicken stock. And that's our 12 ounces, okay? So that's our 12 ounces. And the liquid from the chicken stock and you know what? I don't care. I'm going to add, I just don't want to be wasteful. So I'm using the whole 14 ounces. So be it. 2 ounces should not kill us. All right, so now we've stirred all of that together. I'm going to kind of flatten it out just a bit. Just, even it out. So everybody has a chance to get the water. Now, the package directions say, stir in the stuffing mix and cover, and then remove from heat. All right, so I'm going to do just that. I know. I didn't put the roasted garlic in there. I probably should have, shouldn't I? But I didn't. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna turn off the fire and I'm just gonna cover it, okay? And ta-da, we're gonna let it set for 5 minutes. Then we're gonna come back and look at it, okay? No, I didn't. I didn't put garlic in this one. It sits over here. It gets closer over here when I'm using it, right? And so, I don't know what's for lunch today. And so sometimes, there you go. Okay, so this is, I've turned the fire off-ish. I know, a little ish. I've turned the fire off and we put the lid on it and we're gonna let it set for 5 minutes. So really, think about that. The hardest part was sitting here waiting for the chorizo and the veggies to kind of cook and smushy down. So there we go, that's covered. And we're gonna go back over to where we were. You ready? Are you ready? Come on over. Come on over. Oops, tilting. There we go. Come on. Okay, are you here? There you go. All right, so our pumpkin pie went in at 375 and it has to cook for an hour. Now here's the only reason, if you are always in a hurry and you need things done, you might not make this recipe. So this recipe, and I got this from my friend Tim. He posted it and said, this is probably the only way I would eat pumpkin pie. Oh, Kelly, hello, Kelly. Kelly, there's a bunch of old HG people that usually are on here. So it's good to see you. Watch the replays, Kelly. Anyway, so my friend Tim obviously doesn't like pumpkin pie, but he said that if it had Fireball whiskey in it, that he would, cinnamon whiskey, maybe he would eat it. And I was so intrigued. I was like, oh yes, gotta make that. But the recipe is from, I don't know where the recipe is from. I just printed it off. So my apologies, someplace on the internet. Anyway, so you're supposed to cook it for almost an hour. 50 to 60 minutes, you know, when it stops jiggling, just like a regular pumpkin pie. Then you take it out of there and you let it cool completely. And then she says to put it in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours. 3 hours. Irene, we're done cooking, Buttercup. But we did a Fireball cinnamon whiskey pumpkin pie. And we made chorizo stovetop stuffing. It's over there. We've already done cooking. We got the lid on it and we got to wait 5 minutes. So I thought we should do dessert first. What do you guys think? Dessert first while we're waiting for the stovetop stuffing? I think so. Hold on. Let us look. La 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 la. Ta-da! Fireball cinnamon whiskey pumpkin pie. There we go. Okay, now that being said, you guys have to make a choice. Are you Cool Whip people? Or are you, don't say homemade. I mean, you can say it. I'm not making homemade whip topping. One, my mom does that for every holiday. I don't really like it. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. It's just not my favorite. My oldest daughter likes the stuff in the spray can. She likes that. I'm the Cool Whip girl. So what are you? Are you the, I prefer homemade in the spray can, or are you a Cool Whip person? A tub. So it's either homemade, spray, or tub. Lois, I knew you would be the real one. Always dessert first. I know you don't know what's going to happen. All right. See, nobody's saying. You got to tell me. Hello, Edna. Good to see you. Okay, I'm going to get a plate. I thought since I was saying Cool Whip all the way. Yeah. Homemade. There you go. I thought since this was Thankful Day, I would use the fall-ish looking one. All the above. There you go. Tub, homemade. Dream Whip. I have a recipe with Dream Whip. What is the recipe that I've made with Dream Whip? I can't remember, but I have a recipe that I make with Dream Whip. Cool Whip. I know. Okay, so we kind of, it looks like you're either a homemade person or a Cool Whip person. Not a lot of spray can people. Okay, so let's get a knife. Knife. Homemade, then squirt. Okay. Sarah, my cousin Sarah is on. Hello, cousin Sarah. Good to see you. You like the spray. I like to spray in my mouth. That's the only reason I like to spray. Okay, here we go. You ready? Trying to decide how big of a piece I want. Okay. A bigger piece. All right. I even got my little pie thing out. A chocolate pie. Loisanne, that's what it is. It's that chocolate dream thing. That's what I use the Dream Whip with. You're right. That's it. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that. Can you see? Look how yummy that is. All right. I'm going to put it on my little plate. And I'm going to taste it first before I put my whip on. Although I am using the whip. Sarah, good to see you. I know. How can you not like whip? In the winter, they have vanilla flavored Cool Whip. A little slice of heaven. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm gonna need one more of this. Okay. Here we go. Taste test. Look at that. Hold on. I am not getting a kick. Oh, there it is. I'm eating. I'm like, it just tastes like pumpkin pie. But then, like right at the end, you kind of have that red hot. You know, the flavor, the taste of red hots. They have chocolate Cool Whip too. Yeah, I know. Yum. So that's what it tastes like. You taste the pumpkin pie and you're eating and you're like, okay, well, this is just pumpkin pie. But then at the very end when you swallow, it's like right here, it hits you and it's like red hots. That's what it tastes like, red hots. Okay, but I gotta have some Cool Whip on there. Don't you always like it when people do that? To me, that's pretty, but then you have to do this. Because you know me, perfect bite. So then I want to spread it all over so that every bite has a good piece of Cool Whip on there. Okay, one more bite with the Cool Whip. Oop, there it is. Oop, there it is. Oh, good pumpkin pie. Good morning, Lynn. Good to see you. Okay, so 2 thumbs up for the Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey Pumpkin Pie. 2 thumbs up. That's a good recipe. That's a keeper. All right, our 5 minutes have passed, so you know we're going to get our other out. All right. Oh, this smells delightful, right? I know it probably doesn't. You probably are going, okay, that's not pretty. And it might not be pretty. Oh, but it smells so good. All right, you ready? Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna put a little bit more in there. Oh. Hot, 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 hot. Let me move all this. Hot, hot, hot. Okay, look. Look. You've got stuffing, you've got onions, celery, green bell pepper, and that lovely stuffing mix. Oh, can you see the steam coming up off of it? So good. All right, we ready for a taste? My dessert patterns. Oh, the plate? I know. Okay, here we go. You ready? This is so good. Quite frankly, this is so good. I almost think I would love, even though I always think of chorizo as with eggs, even though there's stuffing, this is stuffing, I think this would be phenomenal with eggs. Scrambled eggs, fried eggs, over easy, however you eat your eggs. This is a little slice of heaven. And it has a huge kick because the chorizo is spicy. I mean, not a huge kick, but oh yeah, this is a keeper too. I just keep eating. Obviously, I hate it, right? Okay, we made it through the whole day. It is our thankful meal with a kick. We made a Fireball cinnamon whiskey pumpkin pie and chorizo stovetop stuffing. Now, how long did that take? Really? 10 minutes, 15 tops. I like a little pie with my Cool Whip too. And so we made everything. Now, tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow, we're gonna be making chicken parm. I know I normally don't tell everybody what we're making in advance, but tomorrow, chicken parm and an adult beverage, because it'll be Saturday. We need our adult beverage, right? I know, I'm gonna scramble some eggs and put them on top. All right, you guys, I hope you have a lovely day. From my kitchen to yours, may you be blessed. May you be thankful. May you be grateful for everything that you do have. And you focus on that to bring you joy. Love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Bye-bye.